welcome back to WilliJ Gaming. I'm WilliJ, and we all know that picking a starter Pokemon is one of the most important parts of the player's journey. Picking a good starter Pokemon can demolish the evil team, demolish your rival and all the gym leaders, and make the game pretty much on easy mode. And picking the wrong starter can ultimately, well, really it's not that bad, because Pokemon isn't that hard. But just because Pokemon isn't that hard doesn't mean that there isn't a wrong and right starter. Well, of course, there isn't a wrong and right starter, but there is a best and, well, not best starter. So I did do this based on the math, not just based on my own opinion, and I had to look way past popularity and probability just for this one. I had to look at all the numbers and how well all the starters fared against the gym leaders, the Elite Four, the rival, the evil team, and even some of the smaller characters. And without further ado, the region that started it all, the Kanto region. Of course, we'll be talking about Fire Red, Leaf Green, and Red, Blue, Green, and Yellow. Well, not Yellow, because you don't really get a choice. So this is kind of ironic. In the Kanto region, you get a choice between Bulbasaur, Charmander, or Squirtle, or of course, if you're playing Yellow, you're stuck with Pikachu again. Well, then you get a choice between those three, but the best starter is actually, ironically, the least popular starter, Bulbasaur. Now, some of you may disagree, but Bulbasaur actually is the best starter. Now let's go over why it's not Charmander because it's so popular. Charmander struggles against the first and second gyms with Brock's ground types and Misty's water types. Even though you can catch a Nidoran or a Pikachu and train those up in the games to take care of those weaknesses, well, early game weaknesses are different from late game weaknesses because you don't really have a lot of options to take care of them. And Squirtle because it struggles against Vermilion Sage Gym Leader Surge and also Erica in the mid-game. Bulbasaur really only has weaknesses against Sabrina and Blaine, but by that point your team is pretty much balanced out, so you can deal with those kind of threats. That's why early game threats have a higher weight than mid-game threats. Also, Ivysaur evolves to Venusaur at level 32 instead of level 36 for all of the other starters. And now let's head over to the Johto region to discuss the best starter for there. Now, we picked Cyndaquil because, well, let's go over why the other two starters didn't get the spotlight so we can better understand why Cyndaquil does. Chikorita fails at every gym leader but Price, and it also doesn't help to Totodile that none of the gym leaders are weak against water type. However, Cyndaquil does good against both Faulkner and Buzzy, which use flying and bug-type Pokemon. It's also super effective against ice types, too. It also struggles with Whitney's Miltank, but really, who doesn't? And if you are struggling, just trade the NPC for his Machop. And moving on to the Hoenn region and the choice between Trico, Torchic, and Mudkip. Once again, I'm gonna have to go with the Fire-type starter. Again, because it evolved into the most kick-ass Pokemon, Blaziken. This Pokemon became the only starter to be banned to the Ubers tier because it was too kick-ass for OU. Especially with its great abilities Blaze and Speed Boost. It also does good against Roxanne. Make sure to evolve it into a normal type. Make sure to evolve it into a fighting type first. It can also do well with Norman, and Sydney, and Glacia, the Elite Four. Now coming over to the Sinnoh region, which is actually my favorite region of them all, and the choice between Chimchar, Piplup, and Turtwig. We chose Chimchar, yes, the fire-fighting starter again, and for good reason. Make sure you evolve it into a Monferno before facing the first gym, because fighting type is super effective against rock types, and it also is super effective against Gardena because of her fighting type weakness and her fire type weakness as well. Its fire typing, when it's an Infernape, will also do well against Bryson and Candace because of steel and ice type weaknesses. It also does good against Aaron. It also does better against Cynthia's team than any other starter, only having to watch out for her Gastrodon and Milotic. Now moving over to the Unova region, where the choice between Snivy, Tepig, and Oshawott. Now there is a clear-cut starter who is also, ironically, the least liked, and that is Tepig. I am so sorry I'm doing another fire fighting starter the 2 times in a row. I promise this is going to be the last one. Make sure to evolve your Tepig into a Pig Knight before facing the second gym. That way, its fighting type will be strong against Lenore's normal types. It is already strong against Bird's bug types with their fire type weaknesses. Emboar also does well against Grimsley and some of Alder's team. Now coming over to Generation 6 and the beautiful Kalos region, where the choice between Fennekin, Froakie, and Chespin is. We picked Froakie, not because it's the most popular, but because it is the best starter to choose by a mile. It does great against all of the gym leaders except Clement and Brant, and it absolutely destroys Malva's team and only has to watch out for Gardevoir and Gourgeist on Dianthus' team. All in all, it's a really great Pokemon, and it does great against all the major characters in the Central Story, including the rival and the evil team. And next up, Pokemon Sun and Moon, with the choice between Rowlet, Litten, and Poplio. For Pokemon Sun and Moon, not Ultra Sun and Moon, that's different, we picked Litten. It does good against every totem Pokemon, excepting maybe Wishy-Washy and Arachnid. And last but not least, Pokemon Ultra Sun and Pokemon Ultra Moon. Again, the same choice between Rowlet, Litten, and Poplio, but this time, it's a different best starter and works using Poplio. It only does bad against Lurantis and Vikavolt. It absolutely destroys Olivia's team, only having to watch out for Probopass's Thunder Wave, but who else doesn't have a problem with Probopass? It also does very well with Kukui's entire team. Just watch out for that Magnezone, though. And last but not least, Pokemon Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon, and the choice between Rowlet, Litten, and Poplio. Same choice last time, but there's a different favorite starter, and now it is Poplio. It does well against every totem Pokemon, excepting Lurantis and Vikavolt. It also does very well against all of Olivia's team except for her Probopass, but come on, who doesn't have problems with her Probopass? Also doing well against all of Kukui's team except, again, Magnezone, makes it a very, very strong choice. It also does well against all of the evil team and your rival. So those are my picks on the strongest starter Pokemon for each region. If you disagree, you can leave a comment down below explaining what your strongest starter Pokemon is and why. Or if you have any future video ideas for me, you can tell me down in the comments below. And until then, I'm WilliJ, this has been WilliJ Gaming, and thanks for watching. Goodbye.